Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Thatcham Town Council Planning and Highways Committee. Today being Tuesday the 10th of February 2026. And this meeting is being recorded for publication on the Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel. So, moving to the agenda item 1.
One apology received, Chairman, Councillor Val Watts.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. Does anybody have any particular declarations of interest on the items on the agenda tonight? Well, that's a good.
Item 6 is the draft communication potentially from yourself to West Berkshire Council Committee vote for it regarding the delay in the master plan process in the construction. Only to say that I'm an executive member of West Berkshire Council, it's not my portfolio, but I can declare that I probably had discussions when this issue has come up.
Anybody else like to declare some interest?
So I can always get that avoid plans on West Berkshire.
Okay. So moving on to the minutes. The minutes have circulated. There is formatting in them, but I don't think it's affected the content. So I will propose from the chair that we convert accurate minutes. Right, second, thank you. So, thank you. So, in favour of a so confirmed. Those in favour? Thank you. Nobody against? So, okay. That's been the so we move on to planning applications, of which we have 3 intended for consideration this evening. Sorry, I missed one. To the police manager to provide members to request feedback on matters arising from the previous meeting.
We have 29 Roman Way, which has been some correspondence.
Yeah. So I'll inform the meeting that I have submitted personal representations on 29 Roman Way of objection, which largely address matters that we discussed in more detail, particularly technical issues with electric. And we received correspondence from a resident, which both myself, I wrote back on behalf of as ward members, I wrote back on behalf of the town council perspective, and the council members wrote back from the West Berkshire Council perspective.
I've also called the application in as well, Chair.
Okay. So having completed that one, we'll move on.
Lovely, thank you. So we've got 3 to consider this evening. The first one is Channel Electric Equipment Limited, Bath Road, Thatcham. Change of use from electrical warehouse and offices to a dental surgery, new entrance door and porch, and new side windows. So next up now. Right, just for those that are unaware, this is the location. So literally opposite the council offices on the Bath Road. And this is the proposed site plan. When it loads. I don't know why.
Yes.
Right, so what is this?
Is that little triangle at the right, at the middle of that bar, grey bar? You want to click. That triangle.
Right. Sorry. I don't know why it keeps conversing. So yeah, these are the basic plans for different front elevation, side elevation, rear. So there will be 4 surgery areas, a waiting area, reception. So forth. Sorry, no, this is proposed. This is proposed. So ground floor plan and a first floor plan. Um, this is a comment from West Berkshire Council. So they have raised a couple of concerns about proposed parking. Not enough detail in the planning application. Turning movements and access to the site from the A4. The bus stop as well, which is directly outside, and cycle storage. So that's the information.
So just from my perspective, that the situation for the surgery is no situation for the medical practice. Both require, neither of them have patient parking, but they both have adjacent the memorial car park, and if people want to stay for less than an hour, they can walk to Gilbert, because Gilbert Court car park and not pay. So could I suggest that we don't, I'm not unduly concerned about parking, certainly for patients, and of course there is a pedestrian traffic control pedestrian crossing very close to that location. Concerned about it. I see nobody seeing an objection, given the general shortage of dental practices around the country as a whole, and the fact that we are not objecting to the development aspects. Do we wish to support it on the basis that it will pay a service to residents? Yeah.
I don't know any business users coming out of this for what makes this a question. There must be values in all cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I suggest we do is that we a valuable service to residents, and we note that the car park and is available in the same way as it's already used by patients at the medical practice.
Okay.
So I propose that with that wording, do I have a second to that? Thank you. And those in favour of that is unanimous. Thank you. So, moving on to the second one.
Yes, we have a 2-story rear extension of dormer, window and roof at 127 Bath Road, Thatcham. So I'll just show you a location. Apologies, I don't know why it does this. I've saved it all in these folders as well for today. Sounds like it's about to explode. This is just off Hennick Lane next to the new development on the A4.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I can, it's the very end one.
Yes, the very end one. We'll show you the rest of the committee once we get there. But I think we've had this before.
Yeah.
We haven't, or we
1, 2, 3 to 1, 2, 5.
on the
It
spot.
is whatever it is, it's not what you see in the street. So it's about.
It's here.
there, yeah.
But I mean, I can't even. What's going on? That's this one here. Yeah, finally.
This is a detached house with a very lengthy rear garden. We previously had applications for 123 and 125 for two neighbouring properties for us three and then after modification, two bungalows at the rear garden. I note that this house has. Okay, I know that there has been parking of vehicles in the rear garden for a number of months. Not a planning issue, but I think that may be related to the development.
So there's a bit of a proposal of the elevations and
Yeah.
the layout plan.
So, of course, on the right hand side, you've got 123 and 125. On the left hand side, you have the three-story flats from Francis Close, which probably sort of is a reference for scale of development.
West Berks have come back with their highways recommendation.
Should be able to fit the cars on that length of.
Tell me, count that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actual technical planning stuff, nothing to do with the actual principle of the development. So, can you go back to the photo, to the here? Because,
Yeah.
So, what you can see. So we've got two houses to the right, which are the one that you can just see under the head is 125. There's another 123 driveway between. And you can see the property immediately adjacent to that three-story block of flats. So I would suggest that we make no objection to this. And if people are happy, I'm seeing over the monthly. So I propose that we make no objection to this proposal. Thank you, Councillor. And those in favour of that proposal, we make no objection. Thank you very much. Then we move on to
Yes.
12 to 16 Chapel Street, which probably all now to 12 to 14 Chapel Street. But, yeah, it's not really good. 16 is now the access for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a variation of conditions. So yeah.
I think we objected to the original application.
We did.
We objected to several applications on this site. It was finally approved, and this is a variation of conditions approved. I think in fact they are largely. The condition to approve plans is always an interesting one. I think we can live with the sustainable drainage and the frosting of the balconies.
Yeah, there was privacy concern, wasn't there?
Yeah. So, what I would suggest, do we want to go through the details of this? So, let's say the changes are changes to the approved plans. Could you be able to get that up quickly?
There's a lot of correspondence with yeah.
Documents and we can see what is hard landscaping, soft landscaping, tree protection, sustainable drainage, and balcony ceilings. I guess that's to do with overlooking. So, yeah, we can see the number of plans and see what is changing in the approved plans, because that might be a sort of hiding quite a lot.
Let me sort this right. I don't know what's going on tonight.
Well, if we can't see it, what I was going to suggest was
Just
that,
Progress.
You'll be listed saying that surely we would be wrong to then try and see it.
yeah,
We have an appeal. Yeah, to do it. This is a condition, you'd have to go back to.
you can check it was approved on appeal. It wasn't.
It says on the paper here that it's approved on appeal. And I assume the condition's really been implemented.
Yeah,
So that-
there's nothing on the screen. That.
Right.
Because we would then be almost overturning.
Yes,
Just other than yeah.
That would be difficult to
yes.
justify.
So
We could almost turn it and say subject to.
what I was going to suggest is that these changes do not, as a result, these changes do not affect our previous views of objective development. Our general view is that conditions that are applied by the planning inspector on appeal should not be overturned. But the council may consider that there are special circumstances to do details.
I think that's exactly what I said.
And for example, sustainable drainage may be something where there's technical reasons.
There's a list of correspondence, Chairman, but
So what I would suggest then is, if we take the wording is that this proposal does not change our objection to the previous objection to the proposal. Our view is that generally conditions that are applied by the inspector of appeals should not be. Yes.
Unless there is a special.
But the council may be aware of special reason, particular reasons why it's appropriate in these cases. No. And so I'm proposing that, do I have a seconder?
I live on Chapel Street.
Councillor McCann, those in favour of responding in that manner, thank you so much. So that is approved.
okay, thank you, Chairman.
And remember the decision notices which are to be noticed.
Yes, I'll get those up for you.
You can't be,
Yeah.
there'll be no problem.
But I should ask if anybody wishes to discuss any of the five that we don't want to discuss. And also ask, have there been any objections to the address?
No, no.
Thank you. So we will not consider that. Moving on to decision notices.
Approval for Thatcham Garden Centre, proposed development of that we've discussed with previously at committee. That's now been approved by West Berkshire. A couple of approves in part and refuses in part. Application 3 for the Grange School. Again, change of conditions. Church of St Mary, the repointing and rebuilding of the new wall. Obviously, we didn't consider, but that's now been approved. And that was it for this month.
Okay. That's good news for the council. Yeah.
Is that the for the wall?
Yeah. Well, that's only what was there. Yeah. Okay, so we move on to agenda item 6A to consider a draft letter. So I circulated this, I think it was email, after the agenda was sent. So we've seen it some time ago, and
Right, it's up on the
now
screen.
On the screen. Basically, the situation is that, as described here, in fact, the first two paragraphs of this, it's not on paper, but it's on the screen. It was circulated by me rather than by James. So, as you're all aware, when the local plan was adopted, the council expressed the intention to develop a master plan and approve it as an SPD within a year. And at that time, that would have meant that the consultation would have taken place last year, which didn't happen. So this is a letter, basically a friendly letter requesting an update, so that we can pass it on to residents. I suspect that some of us have some personal knowledge about it, but it's very difficult for us to know what to say. So this will give us a statement of record that we can use, or the council officers can use, and which also the parish council, the effective parish councils will be aware of. So the first two paragraphs there, the first paragraph states what the situation was in the local plan. The second paragraph suggests that, as the local plan says, that the progress is dependent on actions by the site proponents, which we understand, in fact, from the letter we received last year, that that's taken longer than expected. So we just asking the third paragraph is asking for an update so that we can communicate to residents. My suggestion is this is sent to the portfolio holder for planning, but primarily to the appropriate officer in the planning policy department, who will work out who that should be. That will be the person responsible for this matter within planning policy. So it's very straightforward. Any comments on it? No. So can I propose from the chair that this letter is sent by this is a letter from the council rather than me, not just me personally. So can I propose that this is sent? Oh, so thank you. Secondly, Councillor Thomas. Actually, those in favour. Thank you very much. So that is then approved and will be sent, and hopefully the next meeting will have. So the 6B is to receive notification from West Berkshire Council informing us that they have called for site from this is sites for the new local, for the next phase of local plan from the 2nd of February to the 30th of March. And contrary to what has been said in some documentation, this is my understanding that the local plan needs to be updated with the next lot. So the current local plan is 2041, which will need to be reviewed within that time frame. And this is part of that review. So these sites might come into be developed well before 2041 if sites are added, suitable sites are found through this call for sites. Councillor McCann.
Can I ask a question? Would that mean that I'm not sure the name of the place, but I'm sure members would be familiar with the old bowling?
Yes. It's called New Relation.
Yeah. Would that be a site? Because it's a previous time we agreed that we agreed that should be redefined and
that is
when the type of site
that's a type of site. So there are certain criteria that it has to be if it's within the local, but that's on the settlement boundary. It's within the settlement boundary. Houses. Yes, that is the case. I know that the site owner is intending to submit an application to conclusion, and therefore he supports who develops the site, and it will be open to the council, the town council, to also make an application, to also propose it. And I would suggest that we have time before our next meeting. Our next meeting is so I would suggest that we have time in the next month to consider whether we wish to do so, and then bring the actual document. It's an online, it has to be an online form. We can produce the text of the online document for the next meeting should we decide to proceed on that.
Town council support as an inclusion. Would that be included from an application?
No, because we are proposing that. So the call for sites is a call for technical. The process is to is called the HELAR. I can't remember what it stands for, but that is a technical analysis of the suitability of the site, and not the details. We wouldn't be commenting on the details of it. It's worth noting that slightly unusually, the update of the Environment Agency flood risk map reduced the percentage of the site that is subject, that they believe is subject to flood risk. I think it's actually a more sophisticated computer model. Yeah, so they're taking more account of the flow of water, and I think that location, it's a very high floodplain, and the flow to it is limited by 2 bridges. So I think that's my guess as to why, but it is a result of more sophisticated modelling, which in other places has identified things that have not previously been considered flood risk, like Hennick Park. Yeah, and I should say also that from comments received by previous users of the site when it was active, the flooding that they experienced was surface water that was being trapped rather than river flooding. So, yeah. Yes. So we will bring it back on the agenda, potentially on the agenda for the next meeting, should we decide to proceed with that. So, if any councillors or indeed any resident wishes to draw attention to other sites that they think should be added, well in advance of that meeting, we can consider supporting it. So I should point out that this is at this stage primarily. I'm sure it has that the town council's views would be taken into account.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, planning matters.
Yes, to note another notification from West Berkshire Council. The government has published its revised draft national planning policy framework, included within your packs. The revised draft can be found on the link below, and this runs to the 10th of March. And anyone can respond.
Previous revisions of the NPPF have taken the form of changes of wording. While they don't actually show them the revision marks, it does enable you using computer tools to actually identify what's changed. This is different, it's a complete rewrite. Not only not so much the wording, but the structure. So it is being rewritten much more. The previous version was in paragraphs. This is much more policy, is a bit more like a local plan. But the end result is it's very difficult to compare exactly what the difference, what the consequences of the changes. One thing I will note, which I did observe in there, is that there is a new policy encouraging development in the vicinity of railway stations. And we previously received presentations, this I think was under the last council, from a site proponent to the south of the railway station. So that may be something to keep an eye on in part of that policy. I don't think that it's helpful for us to comment on that on a national perspective. So I think I have to say, when I read that policy, I think that the policy is the borough sessions is written on in the assumption that they're in the middle of town, it's not on the regulation. But I don't think we would be able for us to draw attention to that. Yes, we can.
Can I ask a question? Well, these documents tend to be very technical and with the practice for reasons. But would we be allowed to comment on those where reasonable, plain English should be used?
If this is actually
Okay.
so it's ultimately there are some things that get into the technical but the general objectives are already and so something else that they're planning to do, I don't think they've done it at this stage. There's a second tier of documentation, which is the planning policy guide, which at the moment is a separate set of web pages.
Yeah.
And they're planning to bring that in as annexes to the main document and also clarify the relationship between the two.
Referencing in
Possibly not referencing, but the point is it makes it clear as to what status it has at the moment. It's sort of a separate thing which has a slightly status, which no doubt will be a matter of debate within planning applications and appeals. Okay, so I think my suggestion is that we note this. We don't have, well, I think the deadline I noted was 23:45 on the 10th of March. Our next meeting is on the 10th of March. So if we wish to make a comment, it would still be possible to submit it after the meeting. But as I say, my gut feel is unless we find something which is relevant to facts and which is significant from a national perspective, probably we wouldn't have much influence on the overall outcome. So thank you. Can I suggest that we note that nobody wishes to do any further? Thank you. And if anyone, we may bring it back to the next meeting if we find anything. Probably not. So,
Nothing further to add, Chairman.
okay, thank you. So, agenda item 8.
There have been some traffic management notifications sent out in the last week by myself, but nothing in the last 2 days.
So, that's the traffic management issues. Then I note that the meeting is closed. Thank you very much for attendance.